So you're thinking about moving to Bend, Oregon, but you're just not quite sure where in town you want to live. Now, if location's super important to you, the proximity of your home to, say, Mount Bachelor, to the Cascade Lakes, to the Old Mill District, to the downtown area, as well as the Deschutes River, then look no further than the west side neighborhood called Northwest Crossing, an absolute stunner. This neighborhood started back in 2002. It's made up of over 486 acres, 1,200 homes, as well as 125 businesses. So this entire neighborhood is like its own little town within the town of Bend, Oregon. What we're gonna do today is check the neighborhood out, check a few houses out, get a lay of the land, as well as go in front of the computer to give you a map tour of this neighborhood and its proximity to the rest of Bend and Central Oregon. So if this video sounds like it's for you, then stick around because we're gonna be getting after this tour right now. Hey, if this is your first time to the channel and you want to know everything there is to know about living, eating, sleeping, working, playing, the good and the bad of living in Bend, Oregon, then subscribe to the channel and tap that notification bell below so you can be the first to know about the current market in Bend, Oregon. My name's Ryan and I've lived in Bend for over 30 years. My partner Zach and I, we get calls and texts every day from people just like you, looking for help on making their smooth move to Bend, Oregon, and we absolutely love it. Whether you're moving in 9 days or 90 days, give us a call, shoot us a text, send us an email, or even set up a Zoom meeting. We'd be happy to help you make that smooth move to Bend, Oregon, or anywhere else in the area. So we're right here in the middle of Northwest Crossing. In fact, this is a park called Compass Park that we're walking through right now. It's an early January day, so there's not a lot going on right now. It's a little cold outside, but what you can see here is the landscape. 5 acres here. This is one of 5 parks that are in the area here that all make up the Northwest Crossing ecosystem. There's an amphitheater behind me. There's a kid's playground over here. There's bike trails everywhere. And so what we're at here is a big circle, and there's houses that go all the way around this park here. We are just a couple blocks away from High Lakes Elementary School, which is right in the center of the neighborhood. We're a couple blocks away from Summit High School as well. And so when I talk about high schools going into this Bend, Oregon area, there's not a lot of them. There's only 6 high schools. And so what happens is when a new high school does go in, that's when construction, development, residential development, commercial development kind of takes place right afterward. And so this was kind of the staple for what happened in Bend back in 2001 when Summit High School opened up. Northwest Crossing started construction the next year. And so now the west side of town, it truly is one of the most premier areas of this entire town and surrounding Central Oregon area. Today, what we're going to be focusing on is a map tour of the Northwest Crossing area to give you a better understanding of what this neighborhood's all about. There are 486 acres that are made up of this neighborhood, over 1,200 homes. There are apartment complexes. There are townhomes. There's over 125 businesses that call Northwest Crossing home. So it's just an ecosystem that's within the city of Bend on the west side. Our proximity to the mountain is second to none. We're about 20 minutes from the mountain. We're about 5 minutes from Phil's Trailhead, a world-renowned mountain biking area. So this location is absolutely stunning. And so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna hop in front of the computer and we're gonna go check out some of the homes and just give you a tour of this neighborhood to give you a better understanding of where we're at in Bend, as well as what the features and amenities of Northwest Crossing really are. So stay tuned. Okay, so we're back in front of the computer now. We just got in from the outside. It's clearly snowing today. It's a cold January day. We get some snowfall, and that gives you a feel for what it's like to see a snowstorm in the middle of winter in our neighborhoods, in the neighborhoods that we're featuring. So I'm glad that it actually is snowing because it's actually more of a rarity that it's snowing and cloudy like this on a day like me recording out in the field than on typical days where it's actually typically sunny, because we get those 300 days of sunshine a year. So I'm glad you got that perspective. So now what we're going to do is just do a little screen share, and we're going to just show you the neighborhood that is Northwest Crossing, as well as the surrounding areas in Bend and what the proximity of Northwest Crossing is to the Bend amenities, shopping in town, all the necessities, maybe Lowe's, maybe Home Depot, Costco, the grocery stores, etc., and how to get to and from the airport from Northwest Crossing. Again, the west side of town, very sought after area. As you can see here, we'll zoom in. We'll take a look here. The little dot there, that's the green circle. That's where we did our introduction at Compass Park, and that's kind of like the centerpiece of the neighborhood. If we were to zoom in a little bit more, you can see the Bend property, or the city line there, and Summit goes basically right through it. Pacific Crest Middle School is on the other side of that. But if we were to zoom in here, this is kind of the main primary artery of Northwest Crossing. This is where the construction and the development really started back in 2002, in that range, right after Summit High School opened up. But the park went in, and then you have the commercial strip right here. Eventually that turns into residences at about right here. These are all houses, of course. And then, of course, you have housing that goes all the way around, goes all the way back into this piece of property here. Again, 486 acres, 1,200 homes, over 125 businesses, and it has been further developed. This is a later phase on this side of Mount Washington Drive. When I lived in Northwest Crossing, I lived right here on Mount Washington Drive, kind of the main drag, and I also lived near High Lakes Elementary. So I lived in two houses over the course of about 4 years. So I have a pretty good perspective of what it's like to live in Northwest Crossing. It truly is a remarkable area, so walkable, so biker friendly. Access to, say, Phil's Trail is just a couple of minutes away, and then access to the mountains. The road up to Mount Bachelor Century Drive is just a couple minutes away too. So it's about a 20-minute drive. Don't have to worry about any type of city traffic on your way up to the mountains, Cascade Lakes, etc. Golf courses, there's probably 5 or 6 golf courses, all within about a 5-minute drive. So again, a great primary location. Living on the west side truly is remarkable. But when I was living on Mount Washington Drive, this side of the road, the development, there was nothing there. It was all just sagebrush and trees. And so eventually they started excavating it when I lived there, and I got to see the layout and the eventual development of that later phase, which is the newest phase of Northwest Crossing, where Discovery Park is, the big 35-acre park, and the 3-acre lake that is part of Northwest Crossing. So again, just a really unique area and just a fantastic layout, fantastically planned neighborhood. So we're going to take a quick look at what it looks like from a map perspective to give you guys an idea as to where things are. Central Oregon Community College is really nearby. That's at the foot of Aubrey Butte. And then we have, zoom out a little bit more, we're going to see that we are clearly on the west side of town, the upslope towards the mountains. But if we were to zoom back in and take a look at some of the neighborhood here itself, it's kind of bordered by Shevlin Park Road here on the north end. And then it's also on the south end, it's going to be the Skyliners. And then you have Northwest Mount Washington Drive that goes right through the thick of it. And then, of course, Northwest Crossing continues on to the west side of that with its later development. So we've got Summit High School here. We've got High Lakes Elementary School. We've also got Pacific Crest Middle School. So a lot of schools in the area, very easily accessible. Miller Elementary is also another school that's really close by. And so 2 elementary schools in the area. We've got a middle school, we've got the high school, and this is kind of the heart of the west side of town here. And so what we want to do now is just kind of show you maybe a more of a walker-friendly view of the area. We'll go down here. This is going to be that commercial strip here that I was talking about. This is the main Crossing Drive intersection with Mount Washington. You can see the traffic here, roundabouts everywhere. That's what Bend has really become over the course of time. But this is a really unique little business district here. You got restaurants, La Rosa, you have a bank there. We've got restaurants on the other side. There's a wine bar here. If we were to go down, we've got Sparrow Bakery, one of the premier coffee shops and bakeries in town. It's very typical to see a line out the door on a daily basis, especially early in the morning. If we continue further down Crossing Drive, what we're going to see is a transition into more of a residential style area, and that's where most of the houses start. But we can continue on down. We eventually get to this big circle, which is the Compass Park Circle. This is the circle that we started the video on. We were in this park here, snowing, but this gives you an idea what it looks like on a sunny day. Some of the houses that we featured in the introduction of this video, but this gives you a lay of the land, kind of the vibe and the energy. It's pretty unique, just a really cool neighborhood. Again, it's just like its own little ecosystem. If we actually went up here, we can see High Lakes Elementary School from a street perspective as well. This is the elementary school. This is the bus entrance. In fact, I used to live in this house right here. But as we continue on, we get a feel for the culture and just the way the houses have been kept and built over the course of time. Everybody that lives here takes a lot of pride in where they live. It's a very, very well-kept neighborhood. Most people that live in this area are homeowners. If we go down this road here, it's going to take us down to another park, Lewis and Clark Park. And there's a Montessori school right over here, but this just gives you a lay of the land. Again, very walker friendly, very biker friendly. And we are just so close to the Phil's Trailhead circuit. We are so close to the road to Mount Bachelor. We are so close to the Cascade Lakes. There's multiple golf courses in the area here. So it just gives you a firm understanding that when you're on the west side of town, you are in the heart of Bend and you are at the gateway to all of the outdoor activities that draw so many people into this location, especially for visiting purposes, and then eventually they want to live here. And so they'll look at neighborhoods on the west side, and Northwest Crossing is definitely no exception. So if we were to take a look at where Northwest Crossing is in proximity to other amenities in Bend, say necessities, shopping, business areas, roads to the airport, etc., Blockbuster Video, keep that in mind. The last one, the world's only Blockbuster Video, is just a couple of minutes away in case you're still a member. But let's take a quick look here. Your main byway and access points are going to be, like we talked about, Shevlin Park Road. This turns into Newport Avenue eventually. Another great area. Walkability is fantastic. There's multiple restaurants down in this area. The Newport Avenue Market is a very unique mom and pop style supermarket, and it's highly frequented, and it's just one of the most popular grocery stores in town. A little bit pricey, but still it's fantastic. They've got some things that other stores in the area do not offer. If we were to say drive to Costco, it would be Shevlin Park Road. Eventually it turns into Newport. You cross Deschutes River and you eventually get to downtown. You drive right through downtown, turns into Greenwood, and then we go right around Pilot Butte. That's Pilot Butte State Park there. What we do is we zoom out a little bit, and Costco is right here. So Costco's right here for the time being. It's going to be here for the next couple of years, but eventually Costco's going to be going in up here at the north end of town. And so there is a lot of construction going on right now in preparation for the infrastructure to handle that type of traffic, because Costco's going to go in, but there's also going to be other big stores. I think Fred Meyer might be going in, but you can imagine what other smaller retail stores are going to be going in as a result of having a Costco in a new part of town. And so that's going to be a whole new area up there at the north end. We've already got Trader Joe's, we've got Target, we've got Lowe's, there's the Home Depot, Best Buy's up here, Sportsman's Warehouse is up here, and this is just on the other side, Dick's Sporting Goods. This is just on the other side of Aubrey Butte. And so if we were going to relate this to where Northwest Crossing is, we're over here, and what you would do is you would drive on Northwest Mount Washington Drive northbound here, and eventually it turns into a little road. It can circle all the way back around the butte, and you eventually hit the parkway there. It will take you up to the north end of town on the way to Redmond, on the way to the airport, etc. Or you could take little Archie Briggs Road, which offshoots right here and will take you down across the river, and it funnels you out on the north end. So there's all kinds of shopping up there. It's about a 10 or 15 minute drive depending on the traffic and the other cars on the road. Got Aubrey Glen Golf Course here, but that gives you an idea as to how to access, say, some of the shopping, some of the necessities of Bend and the city, whichever city that you wind up living in, which in this case, of course, is Bend. So that gives you an idea. Downtown's about 5-minute drive away. We showed you how to get there on Shevlin Park Road, or you could take Skyliners Road, which eventually turns into Galveston Avenue, which is another very popular West Side road. And that's where 10 Barrel Brewing Company is. That's where the Victorian Cafe is. This is the road stretch right here. Yes, Skyliners Road. This is the south side of Northwest Crossing. Eventually it turns into Galveston Avenue. Galveston's right here. You've got 10 Barrel, you got Brother John's Ale House. We've got a couple other great restaurants. 14th Street's another primary street. Eventually it turns into Century Drive. So you've got the Safeways down here. We've got some other fantastic restaurants. This is all just a big business strip here. Goes up and down this side, these roads here, and then you have Galveston, and then up here is Newport. We talked about that. We touched on that. And then eventually, once you cross the river, this is Drake Park right in this area here. These are all just historic homes, but you get to downtown. Downtown Bend's right here. It's about a 5-minute drive. And so that's fantastic for anybody that lives on the west side, especially Northwest Crossing. And then if you wanted to know where the Old Mill District is in proximity to Northwest Crossing, it's going to be a little bit further south. So this is going to be the primary area of where the Old Mill District is. This is Riverbend Park here. Just absolute great walking area, great exercise area, great running. Ride your bikes down here. Great river access. This is where people put in to float the river. They will float down here this stretch of the river. They'll eventually come out. This is the spillway here. So you're going to see, I'll show an overhead picture here of the Whitewater Park here. People can actually surf right here on this little stretch. This was something that Ben put in a couple years ago. So there's a big wave that actually is a man-made wave off the river, and people surf on there. Again, you can spill through, and then you can funnel down the river, and eventually you get to Drake Park. And this is typically where you're going to pull out, and then you can either take a shuttle back, or you can have a car. You can walk back and drive back yourself. But that's the river stretch there where people float, and this is the Old Mill District right in this area here as it relates to Northwest Crossing. And so you can take northwest Mount Washington Drive. Eventually it turns into Reed Market Road. That's one way to get down to the old mill, or you can take some side streets through town and eventually you'll get there too. About a 10-minute drive. So again, just very, very prime location for all the amenities that Bend has to offer in the city. And if you were to focus in on the outdoor activities, again, this is our primary area here for Northwest Crossing, and you have Phil's Trailhead here, and you'll eventually get, if you take the Mount Washington Drive again, it'll take you to the intersection that is Century Drive, and then you would wind up taking that road up to Mount Bachelor and then on to the Cascade Lakes. And so Mount Bachelor is going to be up down here. It's about a 15 to 20 minute drive, 25-minute drive. If you're going beyond that, you're going to go to Elk Lake. You're going to go to like some of the other Cascade Lakes up here. This is what that route is going to look like. But again, you are on the west side of town here, right in this area. So you're going to take a road. Eventually, it's going to take you to Century Drive. You're going to miss all the city traffic, and then you can just take your road up to Mount Bachelor. Here's Mount Bachelor here. In the summertime, it's open. You go beyond that, and then you get to places like the South Sister Trailhead. You get to Broken Top Trailhead, Green Lakes. You get to Elk Lake. You get to Lava Lake, Cultus Lake, etc. All the Cascade Lakes, all the amenities up there in the mountains that draw so many people here on an annual basis to visit, and eventually some of them want to end up living here because they just love the town that is Bend and the surrounding Central Oregon area. So that should wrap up some of this video today, you guys. I'm so glad you guys took time to watch this and get a feel for what Northwest Crossing is all about. If you guys have questions about the area, the neighborhood, or anything else in Bend, if this is a neighborhood that you do like, but you want to live maybe somewhere else in town, or you want something that's up and coming, that's maybe under construction now, it's going to be similar to Northwest Crossing, please reach out to us. We know what's going on. We're in the loop when it comes to new development in similar style neighborhoods. Maybe it's on the north end of town, maybe it's on the southeast side of town. Both of those areas are really blossoming right now. They're trying to keep up with the west side of town, but this gives you a feel for hopefully what Bend is really all about in some of the neighborhoods. And that's our goal here with these videos, is just to really show you guys around, give you guys a feel for what Bend is really all about, just to help you make the best and most informed decision as it relates to you and your needs when you're making your decision as to what part of Central Oregon that you want to live in and move to. So our contact information is below. It's in the comment section here. We would like to encourage you guys to make a comment. Please let us know what you like about it. Is there another video that you want us to do? Give us some ideas and some feedback as to what our next slate of videos should be all about, so we can further provide more value and just keep in touch with you guys. So our goal here is for you to reach out to us. If you guys like what you see, we'd like to represent you with your real estate needs. Please reach out. You can call us, you can text us, you can send us an email, you can set up a Zoom meeting even. Our contact information, like I said, is below. If you like the video, like it. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel. But yeah, that wraps it up today. Thank you again for watching. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll either see you in the next video or maybe around town sometime.